Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to this face, then I am Alex, and I would love for you to subscribe right down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up if you end up liking it. So if you guys did not know, I recently turned 21 on May 23rd, so just like 2 weeks ago. Yes, these balloons are from 2 weeks ago, and they are still going pretty strong. I am so impressed. I mean, like, they're a little deflated, but they're still up and going. I thought that it would be a great idea to kind of share with you guys 21 things that I've learned in 21 years. I know that 21 may seem young to some people and 21 may seem old to some people, but I think that in the past couple of years I have learned a couple of things, so I thought that I would like to share that with you guys in hopes that maybe you guys didn't make the same mistakes as I did. But yeah, so I'm going to be reading off of my little journal that I wrote everything down in. So let's just get started. Number 1 is time really does fly by so fast. Honestly, I kind of realized this at my high school graduation. I was like, oh my goodness, these 4 years have gone by so quickly, like literally in a blink of an eye, and high school was done. And I just couldn't believe it. And I'm now realizing the older that you get, the faster time goes. Appreciate the time that you have. Make it the best, because it does really does go by fast. Number 2, you are not invincible. Just because you think it's never going to happen to you does not mean it's not going to. We always hear these stories. Sorry, my cat is meowing. Are you okay, Snickers? What do you need? You know, you always hear these stories growing up of these terrible things happening to people around us, and you're like, oh, that'll never happen to me. Snickers, what's going on? That'll never happen to me. You kind of think that you only hear about things like that will actually never happen to you. And I promise you, you will have one of those aha moments where you're like, okay, well, I never thought it was going to happen to me, but it did, and it sucks. But, you know, that is just life. I remember when I had one of those moments was when I got in a really bad car accident. I've talked about this a few times in a couple other videos. But, you know, I never really thought that I would ever get in a car accident as bad as I, did. And when I got in one, I was like, I'm really not invincible. Things can happen. Just as they happen to others, they can happen to you as well. So just keep that in mind. You are not invincible. You really aren't. You're human just like everybody else is, and you're susceptible to anything in this world. Number 3 is those $200 pair of jeans will not matter in the near future, I promise. Now, this doesn't just go for jeans. This goes for, the brand new car, the 2017 Camaro, which I don't think they have one of those yet, but you know what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I used to worry so much about what I wore to school, and the brands that I had, especially in high school. I feel like we're very aware of that kind of thing in society, and we kind of relate brands and cool things to money and popularity, which is totally not true, because I promise you that a week, a month, 2 months, a year from now, you won't even remember what it was that you wanted so badly. So 4, if you do not take the opportunity that lies ahead of you, you will regret it. I've had a lot of these, and I'm sure you have as well. A lot of things that have been put in your path or literally handed to you, and you just don't take it. And I still do this to this day. It's just to do with fear. It's to do with insecurity, not trusting yourself, not trusting your surroundings. And so you just don't take it. But then at the end of the day, you really regret your decision, and you're like, man, why didn't I just go for it? All right, number 5. All right, so this really bothered me a lot throughout high school, is being popular and having a lot of friends. To me, I've now realized that having a lot of friends really doesn't matter. I have some of the greatest friends in my entire life. I love them to death, and I don't have that many friends. I have like 5 really, really, really good close friends, and that's about it. And I feel like that is really all I need. But in high school, I spent a lot of time thinking that I was worthless, or nobody wanted me, or I wasn't cool because I wasn't in the popular crowd. I was not in the popular crowd in high school. I look back and think how ridiculous it was, me worrying about all these things that didn't matter. It just doesn't. I promise you, it may seem like a huge deal in high school, but once you get out of high school, you're not even going to remember those kids' names. I mean, literally, you're going to find your nook, and you're going to find the people that really care most about you, and that's what really matters. It doesn't matter to be popular. It doesn't matter if you have those $200 jeans. It's not going to matter. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, high school is not the end-all be-all of your entire life. Number 6. So I feel like a lot of people, pretty much everyone has trouble with this, and I do all the time. I'm not just like alienating you guys, but I also struggle with this as well. I feel like as decent human beings, we have to realize that we are not the only people on this earth, and not everything has to revolve around us. Sometimes you have to put yourself out of the way in order for somebody else to be happy or to get where you're going. Life is not always about you, and I think it takes a lot of hard lessons to kind of learn that, and once you learn that, your life will go so much more smoothly. I just feel like you'll see such an amazing change once you stop thinking about yourself so much and think about other people. So just keep in mind that life is not all about you. It really is not. There are hundreds and thousands of billions of people on this earth, and it would be really good if we could all just start thinking about one another more often. Number 7. Sometimes, this was a really hard one, still is an incredibly hard one for me, but sometimes not getting what you want is actually a huge blessing. Because as humans, we're imperfect. Sometimes we don't always know what we really want, or sometimes we don't always know what is really best for us. For an example, there have been tons of guys that, and I know this is kind of crazy, but there have been tons of guys in my life that I had the biggest crush on them, and I wanted them to, to love me so badly. And now I'm like several years down the road and realizing I am so glad that never worked out. And I feel like if it's meant to happen, it will happen, but that's not always the case. We don't always get what we want, and it's okay. We just have to realize that, I'm not going to always get what I want, and sometimes that's going to be a blessing, and you may not realize it in the moment, but I promise you down the road, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I dodged that bullet. All right, number 8 is, it is really okay if you don't peak in high school. I did not peak in high school. Again, I just want to mention I was not popular at all. I had a very, very, very small knit group of friends. I just did not peak in high school, and I remember looking at all of the people that had everything, had it all going on, beautiful, they were popular, had money, all this kind of thing. They peaked in high school, which there's nothing wrong with that at all, but I'm just saying, again, going back to high school is not the end-all be-all. If you are not the top of the food chain in high school, it is okay, because high school is really just the beginning chapter of the rest of your life. It's really just like you haven't even taken off your training wheels yet. So high school really isn't all that. If you don't got it all going on in high school, it really isn't a big deal, because you're gonna move on to bigger and better things anyways. So just keep that in mind. It's okay if you don't peak. I definitely did not. I, was not popular, did not have a lot of money, and I turned out just fine, and I love my life, and yeah, it's all good. 9, alcohol really doesn't taste that good, and I think you know, drinking alcohol now that I'm 21. I'm not gonna lie, I was drinking it a little bit before I was 21, but I do not condone that. Please don't do that. I'm not condoning you to do that. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just being honest with you. Alcohol, personally, I don't like the taste of alcohol really at all. And I do have a drink here and there, occasionally, maybe with friends or, you know, whatever, if I just want something other to drink than water. But, yeah, alcohol, I don't know, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, especially in high school when you're younger and when it's kind of like illegal to drink it, it's like the biggest deal in the world. Like, everybody wants to drink and everybody wants to go out. And there are some people that, you know, can drink it and still want to do that, which is cool. If that's your thing, whatever, you do you. That's just not my thing. I don't really think alcohol is really that big of a deal. It really isn't. I mean, it kind of tastes gross and it makes you feel gross, makes me feel bloated, and I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Number 10, friends and family are the most important things in life. And it took me a long time to actually realize that my family is so important to me, and they should be number one in your life. And friends too as well. I feel like the relationships that you have, you should cherish those and stop wanting something else or different. I just want you to know how valuable family and friends are. And I know that some people don't have a good family dynamic, but nonetheless, they are important. They were the ones who brought you into this world, whether they are good people or not. And don't take anybody for granted. 11. Man, this video is going by slow. 11. The small things really, really do matter. I know that we live every day for the big moments like Snickers! The little things really, really do matter. I know that we kind of we wake up for the big moments in life, like the next party or, you know, that concert that we're going to, or, you know, just something like that. But honestly, if you can learn to appreciate the little things in life every day, you're going to be so much happier. Like, for instance, I don't know, the way my pillow feels when I lay down on it, or the way, like, a nice hot shower feels, or, you know, the way a candle smells, or waking up and having coffee in the morning. Like, those are the little things that I think everybody needs to take at least a little bit of time to appreciate, because your life is filled with little things. So if we keep only appreciating the big things in life, we're gonna miss out on so much. 12. Heartbreak does not kill you. I promise you that. I've had many a heartbreak in my day, and it's never killed me once. It seems like at the moment that you are not going to survive it, but I promise you, you will. I've had so many boys, like I was talking about earlier in the video, that I've liked and have had heartbreak after heartbreak over, and I survived. I did, and looking back on it now, I'm just like, you know, I'm glad it didn't happen, because I just got myself out of that situation and realized they're really not maybe meant for me. And again, going back to that thing, if it's gonna happen, it will happen. I promise you. And if you're going through a heartbreak right now, I promise you, wait it out. It's gonna get better. And not all guys are meant or girls, not all guys or girls are meant for you. You just have to find that one that is your lobster. I want you to know that heartbreak doesn't last forever. You will move on. It just takes time. 13. Life is too short to let fear stop you. And a lot of people, including myself, are run by fear. If we are afraid of something, we usually don't do it. Which is a mistake. And fear can be a good thing when you're actually in trouble, but I've missed out on a lot of opportunities because I was afraid, and I regret it now, because, you know, it's so stupid to let fear control you like that, to let fear control you and stop you from doing something that you really want to do. It's just dumb, and life is way too short. If you're afraid to do something, all the more reason to do it. if you're afraid to do something, I feel like it's worth doing, because that means you're risking something. You have something to lose, and that's not always a bad thing. Okay, I learned this the very, very, very hard way, the hardest way you can, and I'm still kind of regretting my very foolish decision to spend every single penny that I have in my bank, all my paychecks. I just love shopping, and if you've seen my previous videos, I say that I'm just very impulsive. I'm a very impulsive person. I know, again, it goes back to you think you're invincible and it's okay because you're gonna just keep getting checks in, and it's not fun when you don't have any more checks coming in and you don't have any money in your bank account. So please, and I'm going to really try to get better at this as well, please, please do not spend every penny in your bank account. I promise you, you will thank yourself later when an emergency happens or you lose a job or whatever. You have some money to fall back on. 15. Again, this is one thing that took me a while to learn, and I still have trouble with this sometimes. It's better to buy one good quality item than to buy 15 bad quality items. I do this all the time because I'm just like, I want all this stuff and I want to make my dollar last as long as it possibly can. So I end up going to, buying cheap things for $15 instead of buying one thing for $20. You know what I mean? I promise you, your stuff is going to last a lot longer. It's going to look so much nicer. You won't have to keep repurchasing things if you just invest in some nice quality items. 16. I feel like when you're an adult, you feel me, you got me. But when you're a kid, you don't really... Being an adult, it's not fun. It really is not. I hate it so much. Okay, I don't hate it, actually. I like the freedom. I just hate the responsibilities of being an adult. Basically, when you're an adult, you kind of get pushed off a cliff, and your parents are like, oh, I hope you got wings to fly because, you're an adult now, and it sucks. I hate it. I remember, and I'm pretty sure every little kid does this, when you're a little kid, all you want to do is be an adult. I promise you, being an adult is not fun. It really is not. You have bills to pay. You have to do things for yourself, and you have to work a job, and it's not fun. I promise you, please stay a kid as long as you possibly can. 17, stop wishing for the future and live in the present. We are not promised the future. So if you keep wishing for the future and not living in the moment, you're gonna miss out. Now, don't misinterpret what I say. It's okay to plan for the future. It's very smart to plan for the future. But I feel like, especially me, I do this every single day, all the time. I'm always like, I want, what's the next thing? I can't wait for this to happen. I can't wait for that to happen. We do this our whole entire lives, but we never really sit and look at what we have now. I have so many things right now. I have so many good friends right now. I'm 21 years old. I have the world ahead of me. And it's just nice not to have to always constantly think about the future and worry about the future, and just enjoy life right now as it is. 18, how you look does not define who you are. Again, this goes back to high school a lot. I defined how I looked, what I wore, how many friends I had, to who I was inside. And I mean, that shouldn't even compare itself. Like, you shouldn't even compare those two things. Superficial things are not what really matters. It's really, and I know this sounds like straight out of a Disney movie, but it's really the heart that matters. Your friends, they're not going to be friends with you because you're the prettiest girl or the hottest guy out there. They're going to be friends with you because they love who you are inside. And they love being around you. They love spending time with you. And if you don't have those kind of friends, you need to get new friends. What really matters here? Your looks or the person that you are in the inside? Okay, this is from a Princess Diaries movie, but it is so true. Mia said it in the second movie, and she said, no one can make you feel inferior inferior without your consent, and that is so true. And I've been kind of trying to really practice that in my own life the past couple of weeks, or the past couple of days actually. And I know it's hard because we have all these things bombarding us all at once, and it can make our emotions go all over the place and crazy. And I know it's really hard. It takes a lot of time to retrain your brain to thinking that way, but it is possible, and it's the truth. So yeah. 20. Almost done. But 20 is life is too short to go for what you really want in life. I wish that I would have pursued music a little harder when I was younger, but again, I was very afraid to perform in front of people. I had no confidence in myself whatsoever, and I still don't to this day. Some people may think you're crazy, but in the end, it's all worth it, because I would rather say that I tried and didn't succeed than the other way around, that I didn't try and didn't succeed. So this is also one thing that I try to keep in mind, try to remind myself every day. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to get where you want to be. Like, working, like school. I mean, for instance, you have to do school in order to get to that job that you want. You know what I mean? You have to go to college or high school or whatever to be able to work in the career that you want to go in. And this goes for everything. If you want a clean room, you're going to have to clean it. And then you can get to that zen place where your room is really clean and you can take a deep breath. Or, if you want to get in shape, you're going to have to go to the gym and eat healthy to get in shape and have, whatever. But just remember that. And I think, actually, I have a quote on my wall. It's from Oprah Winfrey that said that, you have to do... hold on, let me see what it says. Okay, so it's actually a quote from Oprah, and I actually have it hanging up on my wall. It says, do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. And I love that quote, because things don't just happen overnight. You have to work for them. Most things, anyways, you have to work for them, and then most of the time that work is not something that you would really choose to do. Alright guys, so that is pretty much all I have for this video. I hope that maybe that was a little inspiring. I mean, I feel like I've learned a few things in my 21 years living on this earth, and I thought that I would share them with you, and I hope that you guys found some inspiration from it, or if you didn't, that's great too. But if you have anything else to add to this video, you can comment down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video if you ended up liking it. Thank you guys so much. I'm giving you big, big, big hugs. Don't forget that you are beautiful, you are worth it, and you have a purpose on this earth. So, love you. Bye.